So this is it. We are live. We are diving into the next big opportunity for listings. I am Jesse Zagorsky, and I am here with our host today is Wesley from LinkU. Wesley being one of the, if not the, probably number one marketers I know in terms of follow-up. And if he says, "Hey, there's an opportunity coming in listings," my answer is yes. I want to know about it, right? So this has been an interesting market the last few months, to say the least. Would you agree, Wesley?
Oh yeah. Working with agents all over the country, you get to hear everyone's stories, and it's just, I don't remember a time where everything was so consistent, nationwide. Speaking of which, where are you guys from, right?
Yep. Yeah. Type it in the box. Where you're from. Let us know where you're at, where you're here, because there's going to be opportunities for listings all over the country. But I want to know what you're seeing, Wesley. What makes you say there's an opportunity out there? What is this opportunity?
So look, I'm sure a lot of you joining us today probably aren't new to the darn, I wish I would have done that. Darn, I wish I would have when it was, right? And I'm out here sound like a crazy person for a while telling people, look, guys, the floods are coming, right? And now I'm telling you, the listings are coming. Here's what you need to do. And people are like, what do I need to do? How do I get in front of it? Well, going back to those missed opportunities, just to let you guys know how big of an opportunity this is, look, this is a market that we've really, a lot of us have never seen. I'm a lot younger, so I haven't seen in my lifetime. Even some of the more seasoned agents I've spoken to, they haven't seen anything like this in their lifetime. At least across the board. We've seen it in like markets, but across the board. And when you go back to, what happened with lists, and just curious, anyone have a shortage of inventory in their market? Anyone have multiple offers, trying to have a hard time winning an offer for their client? All that stuff, listings and offers. That's kind of what's at the forefront of the attention right now with everything going on. Well, anyway, with everything going on in this market right now, we're looking at, okay, in 2020 March, right? Everything starts getting shut down. Real estate industry, all these different industries get shut down. Open houses, you name it, everything gets shut down. There's a lot of fear. Obviously, as more and more is learned about the virus and stuff, stores are closed, and houses are closed, essentially. Little by little, this creates buyers or sellers taking their homes off the market in some cases. Anyone have a seller who was listed at the time, took their home off the market? Don't everyone all participate at once? The chat's going just so crazy right now. I'm just kidding. Please participate. It helps. But anyway, I'm sure. Yeah. Okay. I'm just going to guess then. I'm sure some of you have experienced sellers. There you go. Thank you, Jesse.
All represent everyone. Don't worry. Yes.
They'll represent them. There you go.
100% experience that.
Right. Okay. So because why? They want to wait, right? Yeah. They want to wait. They're going to take their, I'm going to wait right now. So the sellers started taking their homes off the market, and those people who were going to sell started putting it off. So those people during that summer normally would have been a big summer, right? Normally would have been a very good spring, whatever. These homes no longer hit the market because why? Well, people are a little worried about people coming into their houses. So showings, open houses, all those typical things. I know just in our family, there was no way that if we were going to sell, there was no way we were going to have people come through our house, right? So now a lot of agents have to kind of get into the virtual stuff. They have to start transitioning into Zoom meetings and they have to transition their business. Well, one thing that I've seen is a lot of the agents that actually did really well during the pandemic, they already had a lot of those things in place. Like they already had virtual tour, not tours, but you know what I mean? Those 3 Matterports and all that sort of stuff. They already had that in place for every listing. They already were doing that. They already were, already had Calendly links and doing appointments and doing Zooms and things like that. So a lot of the agents that are in brokerages or teams that were doing more teams and agents that were doing these things already, once everything started getting shut down and stuff, their business wasn't affected quite as much because there was still going to be transactions. There might have been a little like lull, but then once they started doing the interest rates and they started doing things like that, the sellers they weren't worried about that. They're still like, I don't want anyone in my house. Buyers start wising up, buyers start saying, well, wait a second, with the interest rates where they're at, this seems like I should get into this. Then you have buyers entering the market. So those agents who had all that in place started actually getting an increase in their business, selling more homes. Then we have a whole nother side of the market, a whole nother side of real estate agents that, and what happened is they got kicked out of the industry. So you're in it or you're out. And I know a lot of people as well, some may be in this room, didn't quite get kicked out, but they got their butt kicked. Okay. All right. They didn't get kicked out. They got their butt kicked. They weren't really ready for that. And that's because a lot of the industries this happened in, right? Especially those where they were lagging behind in technology. Because this really kicked your butt like 5-10 years in the future, basically. Well, anyway. So just like there was opportunity with, I'll just name some opportunities, Google pay-per-click, Zillow, all these other different lead sources, all these opportunities. And you guys probably know the one that maybe you think of like, oh, I missed the opportunity for this. And you wish you would have got in on it, right? Well, there's an opportunity brewing, and I've been kind of speaking to it for a little while, not necessarily this specifically, but leading up to it about, oh, you guys got to follow up. You got to do this. Hey guys, like everyone's asking about where do I get listings? Where do I get listings? We're shortage. Well, the way you get listings from does anyone, wait, before I give it away, does anyone know where most listings are generated? Where they come from? In the market in general?
Where listings come from? It's a good question.
Yeah, everyone says, where do I go get listings? Like, what's the best way to get listings? Some people might say farming. Someone might say, yeah, if you farm a neighborhood, you get listings there. Some people might say home value ads.
We've got 3 votes for SOI in the chat.
Some people might say SOI, right?
Actually 4. Jeff just said my network. That's 4 people now, SOI network.
Right, exactly. So 66% of listings in the market come from a neighbor, a friend, family, past client. Basically what they're saying, right? Referrals, network, SOI. Exactly.
We got a smart group today.
66%.
We got a smart group today.
Yeah, we do, right? So 66% come there. So if 66% of the listings come there, do you anyone know the second place listings come from? If not from your network or if not from your SOI? Any guesses? Second?
I can hear the keys typing. Let's see. We got a guess for Facebook ads. Karen says marketing.
Well, they come from buyers who have something to sell. And that may fall into some of the answers here, but essentially, a lot of times when people say, well, I want listings, when I do these ads or I'm promoting a property, I'm promoting this, all I get is buyers. How do I get sellers? So my answer is, well, first, your database is where your sellers are going to, that's if you're playing odds, like you're going to go with your database. Okay. Your neighbors, your SOI, who do you know? Second is your ads. Someone mentioned Facebook, things like that. Any kind of marketing there where you're bringing in buyers. A lot of buyers, I forgot the exact percent at the moment, but they have something to sell. And most those listings of that group, those listings come from them looking first. Because most people, they want to go look at homes. Where could I live before they necessarily, well, let's sell our house, right? So they start looking for a home. A lot of times it's not very often the other way around. Like, hey, you know what? I want to sell my home. And they haven't looked at other homes yet, right? So it usually goes that way. So that would be the next place. And then you go into all the other, then you could do like, home value, farmed, expired, all those sorts of things. Well, when you look at the percentages, you're really, where people say, how do I go get listings? I want a way to go get listings. I want an ad that I could put on Facebook to give me listings. You're marketing to a very small segment where you're just saying sellers. You're hitting maybe, 66% is basically referral. There's 44% left. And then of that, it's going to be less than probably 30% or 20% of the market that's, going to respond to an ad like that. In any case, it's not as easy, right? Some people, it's not easy to get listings. Now, listen, when we look at what's happened with the pandemic and all the people putting their listings as a whole, now what happened, right? You have all these buyers coming in because of low interest rates. The sellers are pulling out and not putting their listings because, COVID, and they don't want people in their house and multiple other things. And now what ended up happening from there? Well, now the sellers don't want to sell because they don't know where they're going to move. So like, well, even if I sold my house, where am I going to go live? Which is now creating, I think one of the offers I read on LabCoat the other day, right? Now you're pretty have to put like free rent back, or you can rent back your house from me until you find something to give them that ease of mind. So now what that ended up doing is, if I was considering selling, I'm like, well, I don't know if I want to. Not just now, I'm okay even if people are coming to the house a little bit with the safety measures. But now I don't see anything that I like, or I don't want to pay X amount over asking, or all these other things going on, which creates even more of a cycle, right? Makes the cycle worse. Now, there's going to be a shift in this whole thing. And there's going to be a triggering event. Now, I don't know what the triggering event is. I can say I don't know what exactly a triggering event is going to be. It could be the vaccine, 70% of the population is vaccinated or something. It could be a bunch of different things. It could be mortgage rates. It could be multiple things. It could be the way, there's multiple things that are like going on that could be a triggering event. The point is, there's going to be a triggering event, and all those people, right? If you were to go look at the listings over the last few years, I don't know if anyone's ever done this, or if anyone's done it in their market out of curiosity, but if you were to look at listings in your market from 2020 and compared that to 2019 or 2018 or 2017, you're going to see, wow, what a difference. Now, when you look at over the years, 2016, 17, 18, 19, you're going to see like listings, they might be trending up or downward or stay pretty steady in your area, but you have a general idea like, okay, how many listings are in the market? Then when you go to 2020, you're going to see like, right, they fall off big time. So what's that gap? How many listings that normally go into the market did not go on the market? And the way I look at this is, these are not listings that are gone, poof, they're no longer going to sell. They're just listings you're going to sell later. And unfortunately, I've seen some agents lose out on some of those listings that they had pre-pandemic and lose during, because they weren't keeping in touch, or they're so worried about all the other things they're doing. So here's what's going to happen. There's going to be a triggering event. I don't know if it's going to be, I'm thinking probably 4, 5, 6 months or so this year. It could be before summer. I doubt that it'll be that soon though. It might be right around. And then little by little, these sellers are going to come back into the market. So what's the opportunity for you? Well, if you know that 66% of them are from family, friends, and so forth and so on, you need to start positioning yourself. Now, I'm going to get into a little bit of, well, how and what and all that. But I actually was doing a little bit of research on this. And let me share my screen? Yes. Okay. And there was actually an article that came out today on this exact topic. And I'll share with you guys the link. But basically, this was it. Potential sellers expected to boost housing. So in the next 6 months of 2021, it says, potential sellers are expected to boost the supply of homes for sale in the next 6 months. So, they do their surveys and stuff. 10% of homeowners plan to sell in the next 12 months. 76% of potential sellers have taken steps to list. Question is, they're taking the steps. Are they taking steps with you? Are you losing some of those sellers? Can you pick up some listings here? There's going to be a whole bunch of listings that are going to be going to the market, because you have to look, remember, and I would encourage you to do this in your own market. Like, go look at 16, 17, 18, 19. What were those? And what's that gap? Like, how many, let's just say 1,000. I'll just use even numbers. Let's say 1,000 normally, like the average was 1,000 over those 4 years. And then let's just say in 2020, it was like 300. Well, that would mean 700 homes are like pent up, built up in this pipeline that are going to be like, so maybe not exactly all like that. I think it's gonna be like a gradient, but there is going to come a time, there'll be like a second triggering event where it's going to, like, they start trickling and then it just like kind of goes out. Right. So,
and
I guess I'm getting some kind of call.
Is it a listing? No, I'm kidding. And you'll probably get to the second triggering event, but this article that you're talking about, it actually does go into a little detail as to what will cause the second. I love your technical term of, whoa, right? What will cause it to trickle and then open up further? It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, no, exactly. So this came out today. I would highly encourage you to read it, right? And they basically talk about, well, hey, based on the realtor data, the national inventory of homes was 53% below the same time in 2020. So 50% less homes, right? 53%. So that other percentage, the other half basically of homes are going to come out probably over the next, 12 months or so. And that's a lot of listings. Now, what's going to happen with the buyer demand? Well, the buyer demand is also pent up because the listings haven't been available. So there's a lot of buyers who are putting off their buying as well. Tons of them putting off their buying. And this is something I did talk about a few weeks back on LabCoat as well. And that was, if I were you, I would be promoting any listing I could, or collecting leads for whatever, through promoting lists of listings or specific listings on Facebook, because the leads are cheaper than they're ever going to be. That's another opportunity. They're cheaper than they're going to be. I know I can't sell them anything necessarily right now, or the competition is tough. I don't care. I'm going to get in my database. I'm going to start nurturing them. I am positioning myself. I would be positioning myself cheaper than ever, cheapest leads ever, for later this year in 2022. This is an opportunity that you're not going to get unless there's another crazy pandemic and who knows what else, right? So look, like, the pandemic's been terrible. It's hurt a lot of things. A lot of people got sick. A lot of people passed, and all these bad things have happened. And we can sit in that and just focus on the bad, or you can say, okay, well, these things happened. I had a rough year, had this, whatever it is, or maybe you had a great year. And now you want to say, well, how can I recover this? How can I use this to my benefit, or, make the best of it, right? You're making lemonade out of whatever. the saying, right? Lemonade out of lemons, whatever. And that's what this is. So there's multiple opportunities. There's that one, which is cheap leads, building your database for pennies on the dollar. Then with that, you also have listings. You could be building a pipeline of listings, and you can have literally probably the biggest year you've ever had in 2021, even 2022. And it's not like it's been that forever, but you can definitely take advantage, because if you do everything else I teach, which is the follow-up, right? I teach follow-up and consistent follow-up, ongoing over and over. If you have those listings, well, if you know you're supposed to get 2 to 3, 4 additional transactions off each transaction, if you have follow-up things in place for that, if you have the leads you've been building up, you build up thousands of leads or hundreds of leads in your database, you'll be sitting pretty for the next decade or longer. Doesn't even matter what Zillow's doing. Doesn't matter about any of that stuff. And, honestly, I'll get deeper into that, not necessarily today, but actually, and I'll talk about it later. We have an event that I'm doing this week, actually, where I'm going to get way deeper on that, like how exactly you can do it. But I'll give you as much as I can today. So even if you don't make that, you can still take advantage of this. So anyway, this is basically, I'm not going to go through this whole article right now. You guys could read that, but basically kind of lays out the data, what are they selling? Why are they selling? Where, what age groups, all that kind of stuff, generations, what steps are they taking to sell?
Can we pause on this one for a minute? Because I think this one's important. Let's pause on this one.
Do that.
Okay, so this is the steps that they've actually, in this survey, the steps that people have taken towards selling a house. And half the people look like the 2 steps that jump out the most were either made repairs and cleaned out, clutter redecorated, or researched home values in the neighborhood. Knowing those stats, what would you do in terms of when you're building your audience? What would you start doing knowing those are the 2 things that people have started to do?
So a lot of people's first instinct might be like, oh, I need to do home value ads on Facebook because they're looking for home values, right? Or I need to go, I don't even know what else, farm or send postcards, whatever. That might be your first reaction. But mine would actually be, depending on my database, I would start with my SOI network. And I would just be having conversations. And those conversations, I might say, so do any repairs or cleaning around the house? Like, oh, actually, yeah, we just repaired. Like, people don't always volunteer stuff. Yeah, actually, we do. We just did a repair. We did our kitchen. Oh, really? Why? Oh, or was there something that triggered? Oh, we're actually thinking of sell. Oh, there we go. Right. Things like that. Hey, have you seen what's going on in the neighborhood? I don't know. I messed up the script, but hey, have you seen what's going on in the neighborhood? The home values are crazy. I should send you see them. Have you looked at your home value recently? No, I haven't. Or yeah, I was just looking up the other day or whatever. Right. So the reason I would do that, I would go to the database first, is because my odds, 66%. Unfortunately, what a lot of agents do is they're like, I don't want to call my database. I'm going to go do this Facebook ad, or I'm going to go do this post. It doesn't work, or something doesn't go right, or it's not exactly as they thought. And so they're like, well, I guess, I don't know. And then they give up, and then they go find something else that it's just like under them the whole time, because under their nose the whole time, but they don't maybe know exactly what to say, or they're a little bit fearful. They get anxiety about the calls. But that's what I would do. That would be the first step. So that if you're seeing this in your neighborhood, if you're seeing these things, you should be taking steps to offer that home value, to connect them with repair people, to connect them with, give them advice on what repairs would make sense or not, putting yourself in front of them before they actually do these decisions. I'm curious, well, if you're like really close with your clients, like they'll usually reach out to you. Hey, I'm thinking of doing some repairs in my house. Like, is this worth it? Should I even spend the money here? If I were to sell in the future, would this help my value? Like, those are the kinds of relationships that you really want to have with your database. And I'm going to go I'll go deeper into that as well. So let's finish this. Just a couple more things on this report, but that's a great one, Jesse, is like things to look out for, what people are doing, taking steps, right? What you don't want to happen is they basically took a step of finding the agent and it wasn't you. That's what you don't want to do, because it happens all the time. They're in your database. I know this has happened to people in here. You're looking at the MLS, be like, oh, wait a second, that was my client. I sold him, just a few. It's like, it sucks, right? All right. So basically, these sellers are going to basically boost the supply of the inventory, which is going to help the prices. So hopefully, I think that's going to help us avoid that like bubble, right? And it's going to allow people to trade up from whatever homes they're in. People have been pent up with their homes. So now they're like, I just want a new environment. There's all these different reasons, and they're ready to make a move. So anyway, I highly recommend that you guys check out this article. Like I said, it just came out today. I'll go ahead and post the link in the chat. And it was funny because I was like, oh, I'm talking about this. Oh, you already put it. Okay, great. Yeah, I'm literally talking about this today. It's funny that this article came out today. I was trying to beat the article. I was trying to, get you guys the inside info. And some of you guys may know this already. Now, what do you do about it? That's the biggest question. Like, okay, Wes, I get it. Well, what do I do about it? Well, here's what you're going to do. First, you're going to go to the event. No, I'm just kidding.
What? Why are you kidding? I mean, we're going to cover it for the next.
No, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you what you can do about it now.
All right, yeah, give us some action. Give us some action tips
for
first.
real though. If you guys are super serious, like, okay, I really want to go like super deep on this. I think they did post the event. It's called the Ultimate Follow-Up Blueprint Live. We're going to be going deeper into this. We're actually going to be, the goal is to get you 3 deals, help you find 3 deals in 3 days in your pipeline, right? So put 3 or more deals in your pipeline in the 3 days. It's one of those events. It's going to be more interactive. It's kind of like a challenge. And so the idea is not just to learn some stuff, but actually to take action steps, day 1, day 2, and day 3 to go to work and actually put to action what it is, or put to work what I teach you, so that you can get results like during that time, right away. And so that's the goal. That's kind of the promise is, let us help you find 3 or more deals in 3 days by following my proven follow-up blueprint. And those are the things I'm going to teach you. So I'm going to go deeper into this, go into some of the strategies we're doing. I'm going to give you some of them here while I have you. But if you're interested in, like I said, going deeper and really learning what you can do to kind of master your follow-up, master your database, and how much it really can add to your bottom line, and also make your life a lot less stressful.
And that event starts tomorrow, correct?
Yeah, that event starts tomorrow at 9 a.m. Pacific time.
Cool. So those of you, he's going to teach you action steps now, but if you dig this and you love this and you're like, I am all in and I know this is where I need to be tomorrow morning.
And it's free. So
even better.
Oh, there you go. So we have free tickets left. We was going to be sold out on the free ones, but I told them leave it up until after we finish the LabCoat webinar. So so go ahead and grab any of those free tickets, or you can upgrade. We have some VIP and some premier options available as well. Yeah. Oh, and thank you. Who is it? Tessa say it? Yeah, Tristan, who was speaking on day I think he's day 3. He'll be talking
Thursday
about some strategies as well. Yep, on Thursday. But you got to register to get access to any of the days, because it's a 3-day event. So definitely check it out. And hopefully you can come. Now, let's talk about some of the things. I'm going to give you a little basically teaser on some of the things that we're going to be talking about on during the event tomorrow. So when it comes to the database, how do you do this? What do you do? Why does this work? Well, one thing I just want to remind you guys is out of sight, out of mind, right? So if you're not consistently in touch with people, they're less likely to use you as their agent. The other thing too, and going back to kind of what the article says and just reach out to people and getting them, like, how do you make it so people are comfortable reaching out to you when they're making changes to their home or investing or whatever? It's something I call like the open door policy. So the open door policy works like this. Like if you're just sending automated emails, for example, newsletters or listings and things like that, that's fine. It keeps you in front of them. But it's not like an invitation to have a conversation with them. It's kind of like sending information to them. And to really be like, let's be real here, like being a real estate agent and in real estate, it's a relationship business. Like this is one of those industries. This is one of those areas where you can generate all your business through referrals. And it doesn't have to be like referrals like this. It could be like consistent referrals, and actually should be referrals even growing every single year. And if it's not growing every single year, it's because you're not leveraging the database in the way that you should. But back to what I was saying about, what was I saying? Oh yeah, about the open door policy. So the open door policy is like this. Like if you needed expert advice from Jesse, for example, or someone about a topic, it could be an accountant, it could be real estate, it could be title, it could be a repair person, it could be, I don't know, a scientist, I don't know, a doctor, right? Like if they're in your circle, but like you don't really talk to them, like maybe they saw like your doctor or someone or family members like saw you for something once, or you talked to them once or twice or whatever, and it was a while back. Like you probably feel weird. Like we all feel weird asking. A lot of people don't like to ask for help anyway, right? They like to figure out on their own or whatever. So they're just like hesitant. Like think about yourself. Like, aren't you hesitant to go ask that person for, hey, like, can you answer a quick question for me? Or can you help me out with this?
Always. It's a rare person that will speak up and just ask.
Right. Yeah. I mean, look at the group sometimes in here, right? Yeah. It gets quiet for a while until we pull it out of you because you don't want to ask. You don't want to say anything. Yeah. And that's just people in general. Okay. So they don't want to say anything. So when they go sell their house with someone, it's just timing. Someone was in the right place, right time. They just happened to get a thing. And they haven't heard from you except the newsletter. So kind of feel like, oh, they're probably busy enough. Like no biggie. And they feel hesitant to ask. I've heard agents or I've heard people ask, like their clients will say, oh, is it okay if I refer someone to you? Right? Like that right there is proof again that people like they feel weird asking for stuff. So this is what ends up happening. If you're not in touch with them and opening that door, like personally, giving personal invitation to ask you stuff, they're not going to. Typically, they're not going to. So you got to open that door. You got to have an open door policy. What does that mean? That means more personal message. It could be a voicemail. It could be a text. It could be a message on Facebook. It could be multiple of things. It could be a call. And it's just you. Hey, how are you doing? I'm here for you. If you have a question about anything, like I'm here, right? You can even reach out. You can reach out to them, and people like to help. Like, hey, help me with this. And then you can help them. Hey, if you need help with anything, let me know, right? So you open the door and you're basically giving them permission to ask you for advice. Now, every agent says this after the transaction. If you ever need anything, let me know, just call me. But then they never follow up with that ever again, or not enough to really get that permission. And a lot of you agents who know that this works is because you have great relationships with maybe some of your clients, not all of them. And man, I do have that relationship with a portion of my clients. Imagine if I had that with more people, right? How that would look. So that's the open door policy. That's how you get to be the agent that they're asking, hey, I'm thinking of selling, I'm thinking of this. The second thing, and this is really just an action step you can take like right now, just start reaching out. Like I would start with people, if you have a CRM or you have a database, you have an Excel spreadsheet, wherever you have it, I don't care. Think about first of all, if you had any sellers in the pipeline who put it on hold, you should be following up with them like every month. Like if I were you, I would take any potential seller that I already had, make sure to categorize them, and I'd be following up with them like every month at the minimum, maybe even twice a month, just to say, hey, I'm just going to let you know what's going on as it's happening. I know you're interested in selling. whether you're ready or not, I just think if you need to know what's happening so you can make the best decision. And I'm here for you. If you have any questions, just text me, right? Any questions. And that's it. And I read somewhere in LabCoat, someone was like, hey, this person asked me about, they got an offer in their home. Is this too much or little or whatever? What should I say? And it's like, dude, just answer the question. Just answer the freaking question. Who cares? Okay. Like, don't get so caught up. Like some people are like, oh, I charge them $75 for the consultation. It's like, what are you thinking? Like, what are you doing? It's $75. Who cares? Like, no, just answer the question. Okay. Like if you guys, yeah. Do you see Tristan out there? Like you guys ask him for help on something and he says, yeah, for $25, for $100, I'll answer your question. Like, no, that's not how it works. Like he delivers value. I try my best. I deliver value. Everyone is delivering value. We're not over here charging $75, okay, to get something like that. Like if you use me, great. If you don't, use someone else, whatever. Like it's fine. Like I'm just trying to help. By helping, a percentage of people will like to use my company for whatever or whatever, right? So don't get stuck on that. I just want to show that, put that out there. So be there for them. In any case, start reaching out to the sellers, make sure they get a home value. They need to know what their home values are. If you're standing there on your thumb, not knowing what to do, where to generate business, freaking just start generating CMAs for your database. Call them. Don't just like generate and send it. Like talk to them, have a conversation, send it. If you do this, you're going to start positioning yourself for all these listings that are coming up. Now, the next thing you're going to do, those are just the known sellers that you already kind of knew of or had. The next thing you're going to do is now you got to go find more potential sellers. How are you going to do that? You're going to go to your database. You're going to find all kinds of stuff in your database. So now you're just going to start making calls, texts, reach outs. Hey, it's Wesley. Been a long time. I suck and follow up. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry. No. Hey, it's been a long time. It's been a while. Or I was organizing my desk, or I was on my phone. I was watching Wesley on TV and I thought I should call you. I thought I should check in how you're doing, whatever. Okay. How are things with you and the family? That's it. You're not like, you just want to find out what's going on. You just want to start getting back involved with everybody you've worked with those people in your circle. Don't go like, hey, are you looking to sell? Like, no, like not out of the gate. Don't do that, right? Just talk, 5-minute conversation, maybe 10-minute, talk with them, figure out what's going on. They're going to tell you like, oh, you're in real estate, right? And if they don't know you're in real estate, let them know. Oh, what have you been up to? Well, I just been like a real estate agent. Just kidding. But no, just let them know. Like, well, market's been crazy in real estate. We're dealing with all, it's kind of stressful, but really fun at the same time, and blah, blah, blah. Oh, you're going to get, they're going to say something like this. Oh, I didn't know you were an agent. Like you didn't? Or you're going to get like, oh, really? Yeah, that's crazy. Like, what do you mean? And then they're going to ask you, and then you can tell them. See, a lot of people take for granted, right? You guys are thinking, wow, God, they already know what's going on. Like, no, like most of the people don't know what's going on in the real estate market. Just like, I think someone might've posted in the group the other day, every agent I talked to and said, hey, do you guys know about what's going on in the marketing industry with Apple and Facebook? And that's going to change the landscape of marketing online forever. What? No, I don't know what that is. What is it? Right? They don't know what it is. It's okay. It's not your industry. It's huge news, but nobody knows. Same thing. Don't take it for granted what you know. Share it, educate your database. And in there, you're going to find the people like, oh, really? Yeah, I've been thinking of selling. I was going to sell in April. They didn't tell you they were going to sell in April. They're about to list with someone else, right? And they're your client. They're your ex-client, your past client. I mean, that's it. Like do those two things, categorize them. Now that you know they're in the market to sell, don't follow up with them. When are you going to sell? Oh, probably like in 6 months. Don't wait till month 7 and follow up with them. They're like, I already listed my house. You follow up with the next month and the month after that and the month after that. Check in, have something to deliver. Hey, look what the market's at now. Hey, like be the breaking news to them. Be the one, right? Like with that market report, with that whatever, with that advice, and open that door, right? With that open door policy. These are just a few of the strategies, obviously. But hopefully that gives you something where you can actually go take action and do something with it. But that's the type of thing we're going to be kind of going deeper on during the Ultimate Follow-Up Blueprint Live Challenge. Yeah. Anyway.
I love it.
Questions.
Let's see if we have any questions. We have two ways to ask questions. There's a Q&A box if you're on Zoom. If you're on Facebook, type it in as a comment, and Tessa or Jake, someone will cut and paste it into Zoom for us here. But if you have questions on that, please, guys, jump in before I start asking my own questions. I love how straightforward your strategies are, Wesley. Like, there's not a reason why anyone listening to this couldn't do what you just described, correct?
Right. Yeah. Like I'm trying to, like, I try and give you guys, I'm overwhelmed with people who don't execute. Okay. So, I think about like, okay, what I'm going to teach you, I want you to, if you can somehow execute on it, it's not like this like idea, like in fairyland that you can't really execute because there's too many mysteries. You know what I mean? Yes, it will be recorded, Jeff. So if you do attend, you can get access to recordings. It's a short-term access with the free ticket, or you can buy. I might recommend buying it if you're planning to maybe miss it and just get the recordings. I'd probably buy access because you get extended access to the recordings. But yeah, look, guys, like I've been talking about this for a while. Like, get in your database, follow your database. Everything's there. Everything's there. Everything's there. I feel like, you know, the crazy guy talking to everyone, the flood's coming, right? And you guys got to build it, like get it ready. And everyone's like laughing, like, I have Zillow leads, I have this and that. Like, if you are doing this, doesn't matter what's happening with Zillow, like it doesn't even matter because your business would be based on relationships, not leads, right? And when it's built based on relationships, and if you do it exactly the way that I teach, which is consistency, systems, if you implement the right systems and all those things, then none of that matters. You'll get a raise every single year. Why? Because assuming you sell more homes every year, that means you should get referrals every year, and the year after that, and the year after that. And if you are generating any kind of leads at all, that's just supplement. Like, it's really like, I think a lot of us tend to overcomplicate things, not just in being a real estate agent or whatnot, but entrepreneurs in general. We overcomplicate it. We want to do like 10 different strategies. We want to do all these different things to try and get the result. It's not necessary.
It's because we're human beings. All right,
Here you go.
That's human beings have a tendency to overcomplicate. Okay, so to answer a couple questions, we got one question from Facebook that we have time before we wrap up here, Wesley. McKinley asked, will this webinar be on the YouTube channel? Yes, this will be on the LCA YouTube channel. Please make sure you subscribe, go check it out. You can go back and rewatch this. Beth Cocaro is asking, at the event, will you be covering how to handle Facebook ads after everything changed today?
We will be talking about Facebook ads. And to be honest, like a lot of the way that we're teaching you to do Facebook ads, you won't be affected by the iOS situation or any of that stuff. So, yeah, we will. That would be on day 2. We'll be talking about leads and some Facebook ads. That's a short answer. Yes.
How to develop your iOS immunity.
Yeah, we'll cover it just a little bit. I'm not going to go in deep because it's over most people's heads. It's not necessary to know it, but the basic stuff you need to know so that it doesn't really affect you will be covered. Yes.
Love it. All right. This is a great webinar as always. And I love the stats you were showing there. And really, this is the fact that article came out today that you'd already planned this webinar. And here's an article that proves step-by-step with facts exactly what you're training on. Perfect timing.
Makes me look like I'm a genius. Guys, look,
the sign behind you does say you're a genius. So, you know, it's perfect.
Yeah, guys, the flood's coming. The listings are coming. Be in position. Don't miss out. Don't let me, next year be here, be like, hey, did you guys get those listings? Like, no, I didn't do it still. Like, come on. If you want to know how, go to the live event tomorrow.
Yeah. And one last quick question, because I think this will be a fast answer. Amanda Smith is asking, will you be discussing any lead conversion techniques during your event?
No matter what I say about follow-up, you see what I'm talking about? Everyone wants to get back on leads. Okay, that's fine. I'm going to talk about specifically during the event. It's 90% follow-up, 10% leads. That's how it should be for you to have sustainable growth, not just sustainable, but growth every single year, predictable, systemized, and consistent. So we do talk about leads. not a whole ton of stuff. There's only 1 or 2 things you need to do with leads, and everything else comes together. So we really simplify it. Absolutely. We cover it though. And we will be covering the event. Absolutely.
I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Wesley, thank you as always. This is such a good, you're such a wealth of information. Guys, check out that event. Starts tomorrow. Thank you, Wesley from
and it's free.
LinkU. And it's free. Yeah,
That's free ticket. So grab them now. While you
there
can.
you go. All right, guys, enjoy your
everybody.
afternoon. Have a good one. Bye, Wesley.
Have a good one. Bye-bye.